Hey, it's Cosmic Charles, and we're back with another video. So for today's video, I'm going to go over some of the changes that I've made to the deck, and some of the ways of like how to sideboard and how to play it in general, and also going over a recent 4-in-1 that I had. I kind of put a hold on playing Ruby Storm until Laughing Mad came out, and must say Laughing Mad has not disappointed. So to begin, I'm just going to go over the two new cards that were running in the deck. I'll start with Laughing Mad, which is the newest card, and also what it's replacing. So what is Laughing Mad? Laughing Mad is just a functional reprint of Electric Revelation. We were already running for Electric Revelation, and now with Laughing Mad, we've now created the potential to chain through your graveyard. And this is easier to do than with the Desperate Ravings that we ran before. This is because Desperate Ravings cost a blue to flashback, and because of the random discard. I can't tell you how many times I've hit a 25% or a 33% odds on like discarding the only card draw that I drew, and it happened. You've also have getting lucky on a 50-50 as well. So, but the lack of random discard has really helped the Laughing Mad. It's not just a straight upgrade though, because with Desperate Ravings you don't need to discard a card to draw, so let you go to 0 in library much easier. It is also cheaper, so there were situations, and the deck felt very strong when this was happening. When you had like Manamorphose and a Desperate Ravings and just like two FAMs or something like that, and you were able to chain through your deck rapidly with the Desperate Ravings and just discarding cards with flashback or lands and stuff. But that's that wasn't always the case. Sometimes you got down to like the end of the game and then you were discarded something valuable. So this has just been more reliable, and it gives you that new training as well. So what was the other card that we added? Well, that card is Sazakap's Brew. Why is this card in the deck? Well, it target player draws two cards. I wasn't aware that this card was a target player. So that means you don't need to run a blue card to do it, like Compulsive Research, and we can just run Sazakap's Brew. It's also an instant, which means if your opponent's not paying attention with their campfire, we can get them on their upkeep when they draw. If they are paying attention, they'll just shuffle it back in before they get to 0 cards, and I can respond at instant speed with Sazakap's Brew. Paying attention, or maybe I've concealed the Sazakap's Brew somehow. We also, yeah, and those are the two new cards. And we also are running a bit. This deck has why is Sazakap's Brew here? Because of one of our win conditions, the Stream of Thought. So Stream of Thought is good in this deck, not only as a win condition, but as a way of adding consistency and by milling yourself. Desperate Ravings is almost like a mill card because of the random discard effect, and Rummage effects kind of feel that way to begin with. Like, we don't even run any looting effects now. We've gotten rid of all of them, so I can't even really call the deck loot loops anymore. Something with Rummage, I guess. Rummage loops doesn't have the same ring, though. But anyway, what was I talking about? All right, so so you stream loop them out, and how do you stream loop them out? Well, you create these piles to do it. I won't get into it here. I'll just get distracted and I won't be able to finish. But I recommend just trying yourself. It's not as hard as it seems. Don't worry about it. And I also do it in some of the gameplay, so you do get to see it there. Yeah, and the other win con is much easier. That is Seize the Storm. This makes a red elemental creature token. Its power and toughness is equal to the number of instant sorceries cards in my graveyard, and also the cards of flashback I control in exile. So this effect is not a static power and toughness. It's conditional to the number of cards in your graveyard and in exile, if they have flashback. So while that may seem like it makes it weaker to Grave Hate, you can actually use it to play around Grave Hate. By making them sack their relic during the combat step, and then you fill up your graveyard in response to make your creature potentially even bigger than it was to begin with. I've done that before, but that's also conditional when you see the Seize the Storm. Another thing you can do is attack with the Seize the Storm, make them exile your graveyard, and then kill them with the Stream of Thought loop. I've done that before as well. So you have a lot of like sneaky things you can do with this deck in terms of winning it. And we are running 9 of these familiars in order to, I guess, Goblin Archmancer is an honorary familiar, in order to in order to like up our consistency a bit for seeing them. I was considering running 10, but because you could run 10, because like one of the reasons why you can get away with running 16 lands in this combo deck is because you're a rummage deck. You need things to discard. Lands are fine to discard. The 8 flashback cards and the 4 Rite of Flame are fine to discard as well. So it makes it easier. Plus, Season Storm has flashback, so you can discard this too. It works very well in the deck. And the fact that Stream of Thought can, like, milling yourself is pretty good too. Yeah, so because we run the Sazakab Sprue in the main deck so that we can actually run the second Tinder Farm, so we can put the forest into the sideboard. Why do we do this? Well, there's a board strategy where, let's say it's a slower control deck and you don't want to board out your lands for whatever reason. You can board out your 4 Rite of Flame instead, and having a Tinder Farm, much better than a forest. Now, there are some like control decks that run the land destruction spell. I forget what the name's escaping me right now. Evolving Wildfire, Cleansing Wildfire, that's it. And then you kind of need to bring your forest, so it's not the best there. But it's just better than the forest, which is really only good if you want untapped green or a untapped mana to cast like an early Pirate's Pillage or a big score. Otherwise, the Tinder Farms is so much better. Yeah. And how was that? How would that sideboard? How do you sideboard with this deck? Because you have the 2 win conditions. So the first thing I will say is that these win conditions do help each other, or rather, the Stream of Thought helps the Season Storm. Because the Stream of Thought helps configure your deck. There are situations in which, because you can only draw a total of 64, and that's if you both cast and flash back your Electric Revelation effects. So drawing your whole deck can be difficult without Stream of Thought, although you can do it without streaming, and I have in the past. So it helps with the Season Storm plan. But anyway, if you do want to play around something like Grave Hate, what you can do is Season Storm plays around Grave like relics quite well. You cut both your streams, and you bring in a Bitter Reunion and a Season Storm, and then what do you cut for the Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blast, or Apostle Blessing, or whatever else? Well, for that situation, because you're leaving in the Season Storm, you cannot afford to cut your Rite of Flames. So instead, it's important to have mana for that. Because again, you don't have the Stream of Thought. Stream of Thought, you can cut the Rite of Flames only when you run Stream of Thought, but I'll get into that later. So you run the... Sorry, there's a lot of noise going on. It's distracting me. Wow, it's gotten very noisy very quickly. There we go. There's a bunch of lawn work and motorcycles and people talking. Crazy. But anyway, I think it's calmed down now. What was I talking about? So I was talking about Season Storm. Yeah, that's right. So you have the so what would you cut for the other cards? Well, it's going to be 1 familiar, depending on either a Nightscape Familiar or a Goblin and Archomancer, depending on if you're worried about Blue Blast. A Sazakab Sprue brings you to 2, and then you cut your 2 lands, and then you have 14. You never want to run Season Storm without Rite of Flame, because it's important to have mana to be able to cast it. So what is the other way of warding? Well, in that situation, if you like, you want to do the Stream of Thought win condition. Well, you cut your Season Storm, you cut your Bitter Reunion, and then you bring in a Stream of Thought, and it is optional, but I highly recommend bringing in a piece of Grave Hate. It almost never matters, but if the opponent does end up playing 2 pieces of Grave Hate, and they decide just to hold it up the rest of the game, you can't win with only 3 Stream of Thought. 3 Stream of Thought beats only 1. So it depends on how lucky you're feeling. So yeah, so you bring in, so that's what you bring in there. So you are going down 1 piece of card draw, but that's fine. You can get by on 19. I don't like going below 19 though, not counting Manamorphose. So you have the 3 stream and a 3 stream instead of the third stream instead of the Season Storm, a piece of Grave Hate instead of the Bitter Reunion, and there's your Sazakab Sprue. So what do you take out for protection? Well, now you have a choice. You can either go down to 14 land, go down to 14 land, cut a familiar, and one other thing. What is that thing? 14 land, cut a familiar, And I guess it would have to be a card draw spell. That can't be right. 1, 2, 3. That's weird. I know I've done. I I've changed the deck, so like not so that's the stream, that's the grave hate. So that's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I guess you can't really so I haven't quite figured it out yet, I guess, because I don't want to go down to 18 pieces of card draw. I'm not cutting the Electric Revelation, although you could. So you can only really bring in 3 things if you want to leave in Rite of Flame, which isn't really that much. So instead, you would cut the Rite of Flame, cut a Familiar, and that gives you 5 things you can board in, which is your fourth, which is 4 Power Blast and 1 Red Elemental Blast. I wouldn't go down lower on any card draw effects because you have gone down already by cutting a Bitter Union. You could not bring in a piece of Grave Hate for protection, but again, you're dead to 2 pieces of Grave Hate. The Forest is here for Wildfire decks. That's it. And we have the Dispel for Thraben Charm. That's for instant speed Grave Hate, and Siege of Smash for Artifact Grave Hate. But again, you can just board into the Seas of Storm pile in order to play around that. So that's normally what you do, because the Stream of Thought pile, the Stream of Thought configuration of the deck requires 1 less card draw in exchange for a Grave Hate thing, and it's also slightly harder to do. Well, I think I explained it all right that time. This is my 3rd attempt. Okay, so yeah, I was recording. That's good. All right, on to the gameplay. Okay, match 1, game 1. And some of these games we're going to start a little later because I had forgotten about recording, but I got it early enough. So they go Bojuka Bog for turn 1. Looks like we've mulliganed to 6. And I'm going to play a Tinder Farm. So this hand's pretty good because it's explosive with all of these Manamorphose. So we're looking to go a Goblin and Archomancer at some point. And these types of decks are usually pretty slow, but they can run removal. So I'm just going to hold this. The second Goblin and Archomancer is pretty good. But we need to draw more. We have a bit of Reunion for card draw. There we go. That Sandstone Noodle is pretty helpful. We needed more red mana for sure. These Tinder Farms, one of them is not going to be sacrificed. The other one probably is. They go... What are they doing now? Ichor Wellspring. Alright, and another Swamp. And that's a Black Mage's Rod. So this is someone who's testing out the new card from the new set, Final Fantasy. And that's another Manamorphose, so I think it's just time to party. So I'm not going to sacrifice a Tinder Farm yet, in case like these Manamorphose are just like absolutely atrocious. But we shall see. Now I do. So I'm going to go Bitter Reunion. I'm going to discard this mountain. And that draws me into a Thornscape Familiar, which is great. I'm not going to cast it yet, because you never know. You kind of want to wait until you're actually using it. I did it there, but because, I'm going to. Because I'm going to go Goblin and Narcomancer here. Pirate's Pillage, discarding the Geothermal Crevice. That Rite of Flame was pretty key, because I'm low on red mana. So now I can go Laughing Mad, discard an Electric Revelation. Laughing Mad, discard Hickory Woodlot. And I fizzled because I ran out of red mana. So I'll just pass the turn back here. So they have the opportunity to wipe the board if they have some type of interaction or removal. Let's see what they do. They go Crypt Rat, so they can wipe the board. Not looking very good at the moment, but I still have most of my lands, and they wipe their own board as well. So I'm going to just draw 2 here, and I do get another Goblin and Archomancer, so I might be able to rebuild. Additionally, we have Seas of Storm in hand, and a Bitter Reunion. They can exile the graveyard, but we still have 37 cards in our library, so we can probably rebuild. And that's a Sandstone Needle, so we're going to try and rebuild now. And they go Fanatical Offering. and a Kalani Garden. So there's some type of gardens, whatever that black mage's rod, and they find a Vault of Whispers on top. They decline to cast. And it's our turn. So I could go for it here, but they have 2 mana open. I know it could just simply be more card draw, but I decide I'm going to take my time a little bit and just like ramp out. They're not really putting on any pressure. They could have hand disruption, but if it's just discard a card, then I have stuff I can discard. There's a Pact Altera, so I'm probably going to go for it this next turn. And they play a Vault of Whispers, and they pass. I'm going to take this opportunity to draw 2 cards, and I drew another familiar, so that's good. So that means that I can now try some stuff. Now, they didn't equip the Mage's Rod last turn, so that means they might have something, but I just think it's time to go to party. So I'm going to lead on the Nightscape Familiar, and then I'm going to lead on the Goblin Archimancer. So why am I leading on the Nightscape Familiar? If they want to remove something, I'd rather they remove this. If they don't remove this in favor of the Archimancer, I get a double reduction on this Glimpse. So they decide to kill it in response, which is probably the right thing to do. So I can now go Glimpse the Impossible. I hit a Seething Song, so that's pretty important. And I should big score now, because I need to get green mana available. There's another Glimpse, so Glimpse from Exile. There's a Thorn, Escape Familiar, and a Seething Song, so that's very good. And now I can Seething Song, and now I can Glimpse. Another Seething Song, so that is my 3rd Seething Song. And this is one of the advantages of running like certain art in your deck, like the white borders. It's much easier to count how many things you have in exile. For example, I wanted to know how many Electric Revelations. It's much easier. Now, I almost played my Seize the Storm here, but I decided that it wasn't worth it because it wouldn't kill them. I could cast it and give it haste now, but I couldn't cast it, flash it back, and give it haste because casting it and flashing it back cost 8 right now. So it's important for just to keep going. I could do it, but they wouldn't have haste. And I'm going to continue to discard. I discard the Stream of Thought because the mana is very important right now. And there's a Sazakap's Brew. I should cast that, targeting myself. Discarding the Geothermal Crevice. There's a big score, which is mana neutral. And I have a Thornscape Familiar, which is pretty important. So I'm going to discard this mountain. And there's my last Seething Song. That's nice. That lets me go. I mean, even if that was another card, I could keep going by going Thornscape Familiar, something. But here I decided from the Pirate's Pillage, but that spell just lets me finish the game here. Now, I didn't actually need to do that. I could have kept going, and as you can see, I would have continued to hit. And I sacked everything to give it haste, so that was a mistake. I can actually flashback this Seize the Storm now, but I cannot give it haste unless I want to loop my deck with Stream of Thought, which I could easily do. Do I do that here? Yeah, yeah, I put the Bitter Radiant back in, trying to make up for the mistake. That's kind of funny. It's nice that you can actually do that with this deck, though, with the Stream of Thought, like fix your areas of play, and I just decided just to go for it here. I have tons of mana, so if they do anything, I can just try and, like, stream them out at this point. Probably shouldn't even shuffle back that bit of reunion. Funny. So here, let's see how I boarded. There's 2 options, like I said in the introduction. You can either go down on lands or cut Rite of Flames. It depends on whether or not you think, what do you want to do? It never, if you're on the play, you could supposedly do it against a faster deck. Maybe. But I don't really like doing that. I just try to get more lucky and hit my lands at 14 against something like Burn. And while this deck's slower, so I can afford to go for this like more redundancy and protection, because I'm more likely to be able to hit my land drops. And that's the advantage of running 2 Tinder Farms in the main, because they're like much better than a forest. I could bottom the Seething Song to play around Duress, which is what I do. I don't want to see that Duress. I don't have... Oh, I forgot how I boarded. I don't think I have any way to shuffle my library, though. Wait, no, I think I do, because I saw a storm count here. This is recorded using not OBS, so it's not showing storm count, I don't think. So I think I'm on the Stream of Thought win con. I don't really want to go back and check in the film history. We're just going to keep going on and assuming that's what I'm doing. They go rat, so I can discard this big score because I need to discard something with that. So it's kind of like dead by them getting rid of my geothermal crevice. I have nothing else I want to discard. And drawing that sandstone needle helps. So now I have the geothermal crevice, which I can discard. That could have been a big score, but then I would be waiting for something to discard with. So probably on average better to be the big score, but it's pretty slight. And what if I didn't draw land, you know? Like, you have to hit my land drops. And they cast a Nihil Spell Bomb. So here I decide to go for it. I think it's pretty likely that well, it depends on what happens with this Glimpse the Impossible. I mean, it's only one draw 3. And we completely brick. So here I just concede the game. Because, like, you know, it happens. Yeah, so I am on the Stream of Thought build. I'm considering bringing my Rite of Flames back in. Oh, this is something I should mention. You shouldn't play the Streamless build if you're cutting Rite of Flame. You kind of need your Rite of Flames in order to cast it in awkward situations, that can arise because you have less control over your deck manipulation. The reason why you can cut Rite of Flame with Stream of Thought is because you can stream back in your Seething Songs. Because there's Tinder Farm and my Hickory Woodlot. And 2 mountains in hand. Probably going to be discarding one of these mountains, I'd imagine, to a rats. And I'm going to go, or I guess to this Pirate's Village. So I'm going to discard that mountain to Pirate's Village and just ramp out a bit. Turn 3. Yeah, Pirate's Pillage and these pillaging effects are great, like, setup cards against decks that don't run Counterspell. Big Score has some game against Counter Magic, but it's still a big, juicy target. So if you want to tap him out, it's nice. So here I consider going for it, and I decide to do so because I have the Apostle's Blessing. That could have been a little premature, but I just really didn't want to get discarded. I wanted to use the cards in my hand. And there we go. Seething Song. And also, because I have like these big score effects, if let's say we whiff, I might still have like a lot of treasure tokens around. Like the value I accrued would hopefully be enough. I'm not casting this Seed Smash until I need to, and we're just digging for another familiar really right now. Red and red. So now I Seed Smash because I'm going to be starting to cast my Laughing Mads. And now they can pay 1 and potentially draw a removal spell. And I'll go Laughing Mad. It costs 2, so it's expensive. So it's looking pretty grim right now. I don't want to... I don't think I should sack any more of my treasure tokens, though, with this Laughing Mad. I'll just leave it like that. So we've populated out a bit. We have an Apostle's Blessing for protection, and it's a good thing we did, because we were not hitting another fam in the top, 23 cards of our library, so it's a good thing we dug through it. They go Duress. I wonder what they take here. I'm not going to Laughing Mad in response. They can do, like, what if I draw something good, you know? And they take my Laughing Mad. So now, if they have Grave Hate, that would cut me off of 2 pieces of card draw, my graveyard. And one thing you could do is do a desperation stream, but you can't do that with just one familiar on the table. And they go Duress, and they decide to take the Stream of Thought here. I don't think that's right. I think they must not have removal and just want me not to be able to draw cards, but that card wasn't really doing very much. So I'm going to play the Goblin and Archimancer now. And I decided to try and get something going, because I feel like I just need to. And I'll go Glimpse the Impossible for 1, and because that was actually a very good draw. Glimpse now is costing 1. I can't afford to add Greed Mana for this Thornscape familiar, though. Glimpse, and I can't cast this Glimpse, but I can cast this Sazakap's Brew and play the Sandstone Needle. So that's pretty good. So now we kind of have rebuilt a little bit, because we also have these 2 Eldrazi spawns as well. So we have a lot of mana now. And they swing in for 2. And they play Equipped Rats. It's okay. Like, I mean, we have an Apostle's Blessing and 2 Fams in hand. It does mean we're going to be a little light on stuff to discard, but we do have the Electric Revelation. Now, this is one of the things I haven't quite figured out. Should I cast the Electric Revelation from hand if I draw something to discard, or should I try and more aggressively fill my hand up? I don't have that much mana, so I think it should be casted from hand. And I'm going to go red and green. That's good. Arguably, I could have gone green there, but I didn't know that I was going to have the Seething Song on top. And I actually decided to discard the other familiar, which might look crazy, but I was really worried about running out of mana. I think I should have. I don't think that was right. I'm a little rusty there. There we go, and I got lucky. Yeah, should have. I think I could have done something differently there in terms of how I discarded in order to not discard one of those fams. I have to. It depends if I had a big score effect in hand, because then I could have done that. No, I didn't. I had to dig for the big score effect. That's right. So I go Laughing Mad, discard, or big score, discard Stream. Then I can go from the graveyard. Now I'm drawing my fams, which I can just discard away. And Laughing Mad, discard here. Then I can go Seething Song, and I can cast Stream of Thought now. Stream myself just to get this show on the road. I'm not going to board in 2 streams because I don't think they run Fairy Macabre. And there we go. Also, I can't afford to. I have to board in 3. I have to bring in 3 Manamorphose here. Because if I don't hit a Manamorphose, I could end up in a situation where I can't filter mana without decking myself. So that's why I brought in the 3 Manamorphose on that one. Also, I could afford to do so because of all the Electric Revelation effects in my graveyard. And I'll bring in a Stream, a Seething Song, a Glimpse, and a Glimpse. And this should seal the deal with this pile here. That gives me all the card draw and mana I need to continue to go off. And also, you get to see the 3 stream loop, which is which is very efficient for milling them out. Not quite yet. I don't think I can board in 2 yet, but after this one, I do get to board in 2. Unless the opponent conceded. Actually, wait. I think the opponent conceded after I selected my second stream in my graveyard, which I was doing right. Not yet. Not yet. I want a little more mana. Glimpse. Stream of Thought targeting you. I know there's a Seething Song in my graveyard, so now I can board in, not my graveyard, in my library, and they can see when I do the second stream. So you don't get to see the 8 pile this match, but I'm pretty sure I got to do it this league. Okay. My cat's on the desk making a lot of noise. He wants attention. Oh, yeah, all right. So let's move on to match 2. Open file. Where are we? This was against Oni Reject. I don't remember what they were on. So we bottom the Stream of Thought and we play a Sandstone Needle. Looks like it's burn. They play a Goblin Tomb Raider with no artifact. It's unfortunate. And then they go Kaseg Flame Breather. And now I need to consider if I should risk it for the Biscuit here, because you might be able to do things. It looks like that's what I'm going to try and do. So I'm going to cast a Sazakaf Sprue to try and dig a little deeper. And that Seething Song gives me some leg room to operate here. So I'm going to go Goblin and Archimancer, Manamorphose, red-green, because I could have a Thornscape Familiar on top of my library. And now I can go, if I don't, so I use this Rite of Flame to add some mana. Then I can go big score, discard the Revelation. And I do hit another Fam, so that's great. So now I can cast a Fam, go Seething Song. I left a green mana floating. Maybe that wasn't a good choice. We'll see. Laughing Mad, discard the Mountain. I can Electric Revelation away that Stream, that Cave, and I can Glimpse. Yeah, that floating that green almost cost me there, but we managed to get out of it. And I can go Seething Song into Manamorphose. Probably green-red, I'd imagine. I can go Glimpse. There's a Thornscape Familiar. That's good. So I go Laughing Mad, discard the Seize the Storm. It's great that Seize the Storm has flashback, by the way. That lets you do that. It's kind of like perfect for this deck. And now I can go Glimpse the Impossible, and now I can go big score, discard the Anarchomancer. Big score, discard the Thornscape Familiar, just kind of adding more mana. Rite of Flame, and at this point we're just looking for a bit of reunion so that we can end the game. Go red, red, Electric Revelation, discard the Goblin Archomancer, Electric Revelation, discard. So this is what I mean about like the, and we end the chain at 10 cards in library, and there's a Seething Song, Seize the Storm, and we have enough that if they were even able to do something here to stop us, I don't know what that would be, that we could still get them with the Stream of Thought on the back end. All right, and we'll bring in our Apostles' Blessings here, and because burn is fast, we can't really rely on making our land drops to add mana. So we cut down to 8 FAMs, and we bring in 2 Stream of Thoughts. We take out 2 Stream of Thoughts and a Sazcap Sprue for a second Bitter Reunion, a second Seize the Storm, and 4 Apostles' Blessing. They go Voldaire and Epicure, and I'll play a Sandstone Needle. So I kept this hand because, we mulligan to 14 lands. You're going to need to keep 1 landers if they're good enough, like if there's enough potential there. And they get him for 2. So that was a good draw. A land would have been better, but this lets us dig for a land. And we missed on lands, so that's not good. But we discard a Laughing Mad. They go Relic, so they're going to start exiling away our flashback things. That's not very nice. And they get in for 2. Okay. And one of the things that kind of impressed me this league was this deck's ability to play through non-blue interaction, which is pretty impressive. And they get in for 13. So there's my Hickory Woodlot. So that we have enough gas in hand that if they if they don't kill us, we've probably won. We don't really even need that Electric Revelation. We have 9 draw in hand right now. And they go Epicure. They get my last Revelation. They Chain Lightning me. I'm not going to sacrifice my Sandstone Needle. I get him for 5, so I'm dead to a Fire Blast here. And now so I have like 3 FAMs right away, so that's really good for me. There's my Thornscape Familiar. One thing they could do is they could wait till the Thornscape Familiar lands and then do it because I have 1 red mana floating. But they decide instead to go now to deny me the potential mana. So here I am going to do some stuff in response just to be safe. And Seething Song. And Electric Revelation. It does cut me off of like some green, but I expect to be able to draw into more. And there's a Manamorphose I can cast. And I can go green, red here. There's a big score. So now I need to let this Lava Dart resolve because I can now cast a second FAM and save myself more mana. Okay, and there's my Thornscape Familiar. This Seething Song now costs 1, and this big score is neutral. I'm going to discard the Hickory Woodlot. You could lead in the Laughing Mad, but it's a thing that's nice to discard as well. And there's big score. I'm going to discard the Laughing Mad because I might want the Rite of Flame. And I think I do want the Rite of Flame. The Pirate's Pillage again, Glimpse, and there's a Goblin Anarchomancer, so I can cast that. And notably, our opponent tapped their Mountain, so we don't have to play around the Grave Hate at all. And we can discard that Rite of Flame. I want to cast that Rite of Flame because I am trying to cast a large spell. That spell being Seize the Storm, which is what we were digging for. Now, we have 2 in the deck. Shouldn't take that long. Another Seize the Storm. I can Glimpse now. Manamorphose. Red. Laughing Mad, discard land. Seething Song. Goblin and Archomancer, I guess. No, I don't need to do that yet. And so I'm still waiting. Haven't drawn it yet. I swear there's 2 in the deck. At some point here, I thinking like, and there's another Glimpse, and there's my Seize the Storm, and there's my Mountain, my Thornscape Familiar, Seize the Storm, Flashback, Seize the Storm, give everything haste, and that should be game 1 against Burn. All right. Oh, that was the match against Burn, apparently. I guess I won game 1. All right. 1 second. Let me just check this out here. Yeah, I boarded. Yeah, no, I won 2-0. Sorry. Wow, I'm a little tired. Okay, there we go. And let's move on to match 3. So match 3, I caught them when they were casting a candy trail. So I played a Hickory Woodlot, and they go Vault of Whispers into Candy Trail. I play a Sandstone Needle. And what do? They go Blood Fountain into Krauk, Clan, Shaman, KCS. So here's how you play around KCS. There's 2 ways. You need to either make them use it early, or you need to generate a ton of mana and draw into like 4 of your familiars, and then make them use a Krauk, Clan, Shaman, play your other 2 familiars, and then continue going off. That's how you try and beat a Krauk. We have 1 familiar now, and they have mana untapped. So one thing you don't want to do is play into something that's not a Krauk, Clan, Shaman, because you have to make them use it. They have the Blood Fountain, so it's quickly becoming my only opportunity is to go for it and hope to draw into more. So we only have 1 Manamorphose for instant speed, which isn't the best, but we'll see what we can do here. There's a Pirate's Village. Part of me wants to just ramp out more and then wait for longer, but I don't think it's a good idea. You could, though, and I wouldn't blame you for doing so. I'm going to go Glimpse the Impossible and see what they do. So that's a very good hit. But I'm going to probably Glimpse again, just in case. I'm going to Glimpse the Impossible again, because I want them to use that. So they don't use it yet. So I've gotten 2 glimpses off. Now I'm going to Manamorphose, because I'm still able to sacrifice that Geothermal Crevice and play that Seething Song. Red. And now I have the Thornscape Familiar. So I'm going to go Rite of Flame. I'm going to cast the Thornscape Familiar, and I have a lot of instants in exile now. I also have a Bitter Reunion in hand, so that means if I have a lot of mana floating after all of this, I can go for it. I should not cast a Pirate's Village. I almost did. That was a big mistake. I needed to lead on the Bitter Reunion. And they should make me discard first or whatever. I guess maybe not. Because then so they respond to the Bitter Reunion on the stack, and I let the Kraukland chant. So this is either a mistake or they were hoping I respond, because that's one of the ways how I would lose. I respond to it because I wanted them to sacrifice, and then I respond to their second one. This way, like it's kind of a situation where if they did it, I could respond and I could go off in response. If they didn't, then I got to keep my Goblin and Archomancer. So it's kind of like a win-win for me. And I draw into a Nightscape Familiar, but I don't need to cast that yet. I'll discard the Rite of Flame. And part of the tricky thing is mana management here. I will cast the Nightscape Familiar, and now my big scores are mana positive. Okay, now I can discard a Tinder Farm. Big score, discard Sandstone Needle. There's a Thornscape Familiar. So right now, I don't believe I have lethal with Seize the Storm yet. We shall see. I believe I start counting now. It's not lethal. I know that much. You do have to do this every now and then to make sure you didn't accidentally lose the game by putting yourself off of lethal that you had. There's a Rite of Flame, so I'm just going to keep digging through. I should have more than enough mana with these fams in hand. Or I go for it now. Okay, so I do go for it now because they are in fact just dead. All right. And that was game 1 of match 3. So I believe I saw a storm count on this one too, and I just think they run Weather the Storm. I don't know if that's right. Maybe the storm counts just in all the games. And again, I was recording this on the Microsoft recording thing, so it didn't capture the storm count for whatever reason. And yeah, at least I think that it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe there was no storm count, and I'm just the Seeing Ghosts. But I believe I went into the stream of I went into the stream build, which means that I have my Siege Smash in the deck. And they looks like they kept a hand with mono red. Well, maybe not. We'll see. That was a good draw, so now I can get my Thornscape down. I could try to do something next turn if I really wanted to. They go Candy Trail. And Geothermal Bog. So here, I really want to blow up that Great Furnace and try something, but I don't think it's time. Instead, I decided to go Pirate's Pillage, discarding the Rite of Flame, and then play the Sandstone Needle. It just gives me so much mana. And if they have Crocodile Enchantment, I'll just try and play through it like I did last game. They go Refibrous Familiar, discarding the Crevice, and that's a Black Mage's Rod. Alright, so I feel like it's go time, so I'm going to go Siege Smash onto their Great Furnace. It does cost me 2 mana, but I have so much mana in hand, I think I'll be fine. That's actually... They were F6, though, so that leads me to believe maybe they didn't actually even have anything. And I just kind of, like, went down a card in hand for no reason. And Sazcap's through. I'm going to target myself. This looks like I'm running a little low on card draw here. I don't know if I have any flashback cards in the graveyard. I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't. So we fizzled, but we're okay. We drew through that clump of mana at the very least. And they go Eviscerator's Insight. And what do they do now? They can play a Croc. I wouldn't be too concerned about a Croc. Croc plus removal spell from my Thornscape Familiar would be bad. But don't mind them crocking away one Thornscape Familiar. And I draw a Glimpse. That's good. So now I'll go Glimpse the Impossible. And I have a Rite of Flame. So I'm going to lead on the Seething Song. I was tempted to Glimpse away the Rite of Flame, but I just didn't want to. And I'm going to go... Goblin and Archomancer. So here I was considering, I decided just to Laughing Mad first, just in case I bricked. And I'm glad that I did, because I did brick. So what that did do, though, it put me off of streaming myself, and then drawing into milling over a card with flashback, because I would have needed to use my treasure token. So you could make an argument for leaving yourself open to that avenue. But I decided against it. I'd rather keep my Seething Songs in hand. Because we haven't hit any cards with flashback yet, I think. Maybe we've hit one. Yeah, I think we hit one. So... It's still not all that likely. It's only 7 out of 34 milling 4. So I decided to block here. I also block their Reckless Fireweaver. I don't think it really mattered, but maybe they had some trick up their sleeve that they could have killed me. The combination of like a land drop or something, like an artifact land. And Galvanic Blast. And they blast my Anarchomancer. And here, that's some card draw, so I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go Goblin Anarchomancer. And I believe I should... and I decide to stream myself because I am going to big score. I'm just going to discard the Seething Song. So I get rid of a stream, 2 lands, and a Laughing Mad. So I would not have hit the Laughing Mad had I kept that line open. I did hit it this turn, though. And here I decide to bring in a bunch of card draw. And a Glimpse. I can't afford to bring in my Stream of Thought. I still have one more in the deck. But this means I can't discard it. And I'll go Glimpse the Impossible, Metamorphosis. That's something you could... So, Desperate Ravings, you could always go to 0 cards in hand. You can't do that with this deck. Seething Song. Well, I guess you can if you have Metamorphosis, but that's it. You only have 4 of those. And what do I do here? I believe I go Goblin and Narcomancer. Flash back the Electric of Laughing Mad, and then draw 2. Because I had 2 of them. And I felt like this is going to gain me more mana. And this already has long ago by having the 3rd one down. And I have a Manamorphose. There's a little more mana there. Red. It's looking pretty good. So now I can get a little more mana by discarding that Laughing Mad. More mana with this Manamorphose. So it looks like we're out of the woods and in the clear. And there's my Electric Relation, discarding my Nightscape Familiar. Stream of Thought, targeting myself, just to get this over with. And Stream, Glimpse. And I milled an Electric Revelation, a Pirate Spillage, a Thornscape Familiar, and a Manamorphose. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But I'm just going to bring in Stream, Seething Song, Manamorphose, Glimpse. Sorry, I don't need the Manamorphose, so I decide opt for another Glimpse. I discard the Laughing Mad, because it's better in my graveyard at this point. And then I'll go Seething Song, Glimpse the Impossible. And now I can draw my last 2 cards in the library if I want to, or I can just start with the 6 pile. I decide to start with the 6 pile. So I bring in Seething Song, Stream, Manamorphose, and I go Glimpse, and I could Glimpse again. I decide to. And I still can't afford to bring in another Stream yet, but I'll be able to soon. There's Manamorphose, and now I can go Seething Song, Manamorphose, blue, blue. It's annoying that I have to do that bar thing every time. Rite of Flame, Glimpse, and now I can start doing the 8 piles, because I have enough mana and blue things. So both my streams, the Glimpse, the Manamorphose. And I can't do the 8 pile yet, I realize, because I don't actually have 2 streams, but this next one will be. So now I can start the 8 pile. So Stream of Thought, Glimpse, Metamorphose, Stream, Seething Song, and I guess the rest will be Streamathongs and a Sazacaps brew. Sorry, Metamorphose and a Sazacaps brew. There we go. And of course the stream. That brings me to 8. So now I go Metamorphose, blue, blue. And so basically what you're doing, each loop you're casting 2 Glimpses and 2 Stream of Thoughts. And also, like your Seething Song, Manamorphose effects to kind of like add more mana. And now you double stream them again. And this just does 8 every turn. So it, every sequence. So it's just a little better. There we go, and there we go. And now I can go Manamorphose, blue, blue, Manamorphose, blue, blue, Seething Song, and we have enough now to get them. And the Sazacaps brew, like I said, targets a player, so we can also we don't have to pass a turn back here. So the blue, blue because I can, and Glimpse into my Seething Song, cast my Seething Song, Stream of Thought. 3 times. This is more than enough because they'd be out 1 if I did it 12, but I decided to do it 3 times anyway, and mill them out. I was really looking forward to casting that Sazacaps brew, but I don't believe this player let it. Oh, what am I shuffling back in here? Just in case there's something, I don't need to lose there being some interaction that like they've been holding for a long time, trying to screw me over. So I decided to just build another 8 pile, and then see so that I can continue to go off next turn. Should they do something? I would need a Manamorphose, so. And they can see when they get to 0, so I didn't get to cast my pretty Sazacaps brew, which I was a little upset about. I'm just joking. All right, let's go on to open file. Where are we? Match 4 against Princess the First. So this was our first blue matchup of the league. And I'm sorry to say I don't think it went very well. It's blue and it's fairies as well. So this is actually one of our worst matchups. Not as bad as UB, like not UB Fae, but UB with snuff outs and such, which I guess UB Fae does run. So here we really need to draw some lands, like running lands. And this is also a blue player who's played against us before and doesn't really like tapping out. So they're playing like, the smart way, where they just land something and just never tap out for the rest of the game, because I can't actually do anything. Like, if I did have a 3rd land, I'd be casting Laughing Mads on their end step, but I don't. So now I'm discarding Laughing Mads on my end step, which isn't very good. So we're swiftly getting landlocked out of this game, because, like, I can't sacrifice my lands and try and go off. Against a deck without counterspells, you could, because you can respond to the removal spell at instant speed, but you can't. Counter magic's really, like, the best way of dealing with what we're doing. So here I cast a Rite of Flame because that's what I was going to discard. I might as well make them use a spell. But it's not looking very good. And they get in for 3. We go down to 11. And like it does look hopeless here, but it is possible to win. Not probably. We'll only have 3 cards in hand, so maybe. And I haven't seen a ninja yet, so maybe there's a shot. We'll see. So I have the Sandstone Needle tapped. It all depends on whether or not they counter this Nightscape Familiar. So I think I should go for it. They have 3 cards in hand. I don't think I can beat 2 counter spells. So I was considering testing the waters once more with a Pirate's Pillage. But instead I decided to Laughing Mad. And I'd Laughing Mad now because I want to draw into land. They just Dispel. That's fine. So I decide to rebuff them once. Like test the waters. It does let them if they draw a ninja, there's no way I can win. But I thought they had a lot of interaction, so I wanted to draw out something before I go for it. So now I go for it, and I cast a Thornscape Familiar. If they counter this, there's really nothing we can do. So Thornscape Familiar using the white mana. Sorry, Nightscape Familiar. So hopefully they don't counter that. Let's see what they do. They paused a long time here, thinking about whether or not they should counter that. The answer was yes. But I'm going to go Manamorphose. Let's see what this draws out. Draws out a Snap. So I'm going to go with another Manamorphose. Go red, green. And I'm going to go with the Seething Song. I could have tried leading with something else, but I wanted to play around a Spell Pierce here. But if they have the counterspell, they have the counterspell. We can't beat a counterspell here. And they have the counterspell. So they take game 1. I could try and draw something, but I think it's better just to concede. So here, because it's V U Fae, and this is one of the reasons why it's our worst matchup, they can choose to be a deck that just holds up blue mana the whole time, where you would want to have more lands against them, or they can choose to be a more aggressive deck. I choose the line of doing the less lines and getting lucky because Rite of Flames is good against them. Like if they do go turn 2 ninja, you could have a window depending on how much mana you have. It depends on what your mana base looks like. So I have to mulligan this, and I have to mulligan that. That's not good. You really don't want to mulligan against blue decks because you need interaction as well, which reduces your hand size even more, and you are a rummage deck. So you need to have cards in hand you want to discard. So they go Island into Harrier Strix. And I'll play a Sandstone Needle. And they get him for 1. And they go Ninja. So here, I considered trying to kill it, but I really need my lands. And I don't have any other lands in hand, and I need things to discard. So I just go Glimpse, hoping to hit more lands. I hit a mountain, not the land I wanted. And I leave the Red Elemental Blast, because I just feel like I'm going to need to be able to counter something. And it's not a very good approach, but I think the best I can do is just try and chump with my Eldrazi spawns. They get him for 2. And I chump. I could have sacrificed both of them there and discarded a Thornscape Familiar, but that just doesn't appeal to me. They have everything. Yeah, so now they're just never going to tap out from underneath this ninja, and this is a situation where you'd actually would want more lands, like I was talking about during the sideboarding thing. I have beat ninjas in the past, but again, you need to have like a pretty strong hand to do so. And yeah, it's just like we're never going to be able to deal with that. They just brought back their very a spell starter sprite. So here I do the only thing I can do, which is to attempt to Pirate's Pillage into a Thornscape Familiar. I have to lead in the Seething Song though. And they let the Seething Song go, so I'll just go Pirate's Pillage, discard the Laughing Mad, and they go Hydroblast. And I concede. Alright, so we lost the 4th match of the league, unfortunately. So no 5-0 today, but let's see if we picked up the 4-1 against QB Turtle. All right, so it looks like we got to keep a 7. And I'll play my Sandstone Needle. Or I guess we're waiting for our opponent. I'll play my Sandstone Needle, and they play a Plains, and they go Thraben Inspector. I'll play a Geothermal Crevice, and they'll play a Plains. This is a phenomenal matchup for us, by the way. It's very difficult to lose against Mono White, although it is possible. And I have done it before. There's actually a really savvy Mono White player who managed to pull it off against me. You need to combine your Thraben Charms and your Prismatic Strands. That only works game 1. It's a different story game 2. And they get in for 1. And I'm just... Oh, so what am I doing here? I felt like I should just be taking my time. They're not pressuring me. The next one, they had 3 mana. Maybe I should have tried something, but I was thinking, oh, I'll draw another land. I did not, and I didn't want to discard, so it would have been better for me to go off the previous turn. I don't think the extra card draw, really mattered. But I do get to go off in response here to their Thraben Charm. Problem is, now they could have 2 Thraben Charms, whereas the previous turn, they only could have, had 1 open. I am a little worried about a Mana Tithe, though. I think that's a very good card in Mono White, and more players should run it. And I'm going to go Seething Song in response, just the 1, though. And I'm going to land my Thornscape Familiar. So now I'm going to go Glimpse the Impossible, and we'll see if they have another Thraben Charm. And I go another Glimpse. So now I can go Seething Song. And I can go Pirate's Pillage. Discard there. And they were pausing this whole time, by the way, so I was thinking that they might actually have something. Here I mill myself. This does put me off of winning via Stream of Thought against Mono White, I know, but it felt like it was something I had to do here. So what am I doing here? I'm trying to provoke them into exiling my graveyard rather than killing my... sorry, the other way around. I'm trying to provoke them into killing my Thornscape Familiar. Because I don't think I could have won if they exiled the... Well, no, why would I put the Stream of Thought in the graveyard? It's alright. Anyway, they go Battle Screech, and Sultro Pack Beast. I guess I just felt like I needed to, mill myself. And I think I did. I milled over a bunch of lands. So I'm going to go Nightscape Familiar and Electric Revelation. Plus, the goal was to draw into more FAMs, so that's what I was trying to do. And we have Seize the Storm in the graveyard right now. Oh, and by limiting myself on mana so that if they killed the Thornscape Familiar, they wouldn't be able to exile my graveyard. That is something I was thinking, but which they did do. And I'll go Electric Revelation. Here we go. I got very lucky and drew a Seething Song. And now I can flash back that, discarding that, big score, discarding the Laughing Mad. And I can go Glimpse into a mountain, which is great. It gives me a little more of the stuff. I can Sazakap's Brew myself for 1 mana into another Seething Song, which means I can play a Goblin and Archomancer and start casting these for flashback for 1 mana. And my big score is mana positive, so I'll cast it. I decide to discard the Glimpse because I just want more mana. Electric Revelation, discard Tinder Farm. Laughing Mad, discard Tinder Farm, and there's a Bitter Reunion, so now we just need a little more mana so that we can kill them. They don't have a Prismatic Strands in the graveyard. Bitter Reunion, Laughing Mad. I can go Glimpse, and oh yes, this is funny. So I have 1 card left in Library, and I know that card is Rite of Flame. So I knew, and it takes 5 mana exactly to do this line. So I got a little lucky that I still had a Glimpse with which to draw that with. But anyway, we take game 1 against White Weenie. And now we're on to match 2. And we will take out the Seize the Storm. Why are we taking out the Seize the Storm? They have Prismatic Strands. That's one of the ways they can interact with us. We need to bring in a Dispel, though, for the Thraben Charm. That way we can beat double Thraben Charm, which I have beaten before. If they decide just to hold open the 4 for, like, ever, trying to beat my Stream the Thought loop. There is a way, though, where, like, I draw in a certain sequence where I get rid of 4 of key cards. Like, let's say I get rid of 4 Metamorphose, 4 Glimpse if possible. Then you put me on just doing it with Big Score. And my hand is low enough that I can't, because you need to have, like, a certain amount of cards in hand in order for Big Score to work as the as the loop in the end step with the Stream of Thought. Sorry. So I'm gonna go Goblin and Archomancer. I'm gonna Seething Song away the black mana, because I think it's unlikely that I will find the Nightscape Familiar. I'll go Pirate's Pillage, and I'll discard the Electric Revelation, because I don't want to discard the Stream of Thought. Maybe I should have, though. I'll go Rite of Flame. I'll play one of my Thornscape Familiars into a Big Score. Now I can play my other Thornscape Familiar. Now I can Big Score mana positive, and I guess I should discard. Seeing how much card draw I have in my graveyard, I decided to discard the Stream of Thought. I have 2 more in my library, and I have a lot of card draw and a lot of rituals left in the deck, so I don't really need the Stream. So I'll go Big Score, discard the Revelation. Big Score, discard the Crevice. I drew into another Glimpse, so I can Glimpse. I have 3 Laughing Mad in hand. That's 12 cards. So as long as we don't run out of mana, we're probably good. There's Sazakat's Screw, discard the Laughing Mad. Laughing Mad from the graveyard, discard the Tinder Farm. Electric Revelation from the graveyard, discard the Crevice. Now got lucky I drew that Seething Song. That was my last draw before I draw, and I'd hit a Rite of Flame as well. I had 5 Laughing Mad effects or Electric Revelations in hand at that point, so we got tons of card draw here, and there's like no shot that we fizzle, pretty much at this point. And there's my Rite of Flame, Metamorphose, and I decide to add a blue. I draw into a Seething Song, so now I can go blue, Seething Song, just looking for my Stream of Thought now to start looping the deck. And they conceded to the whatever it was called, to boredom. Anyway, that was the league. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing it as well. All right, see you next time.